Cheers! Welcome back to another episode of Sippin With Sin. Happy to have you all here listening for yet another episode. Let's take a little drink here to get it started. Just a little sippage. So cheers to you, listeners. Oh yeah, tickles the throat hole. All right, delicious. We got a fun-filled episode, lots of topics, so we're gonna get right into it today. Quite a bit to go over, but again, thank you so much for the love on the previous episodes, as well as continue to spread the word and help this podcast grow. We really do appreciate it. But without further ado, let's get back to our one and only esteemed colleague, Christian.
Hey,
Christian, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing so good. How's everybody else doing?
I mean, we're doing, sir. I got a wife that's been a little under the weather and a fussy son, so it's been a adventurous week, to say the least. How's your week been?
It's been pretty good, man. I've been super busy at work, so not a whole lot of time to do other things. But aside from that, it's been good. I can't complain.
All right, sweet. Well, as our listeners hopefully know, unless you're brand new, if you're brand new, what we like to do to start every episode, we like to kind of recap the week and go over stuff that we've either been listening to, watching, reading, or playing. Kind of all the different, I guess, areas that we can entertain ourselves for the most part. So, Christian, do you want to lead off what you've been into this week?
Yeah. So for those of you who are new, I have been rewatching Game of Thrones, and I've been talking about my experience rewatching that show. But this week I decided to take a small break from Game of Thrones, and I've been watching something else. I started watching and finished actually a Korean horror show about zombies called All of Us Are Dead. And if you don't mind subtitles, it's a pretty good show to watch. I don't want to give too many spoilers, so I'll try to make this quick and light. Essentially, what happens is we find our main characters in a high school. They are either in their last year or about to be their last year of high school when the infection outbreak starts while they're in school, and shenanigans ensue. Of course, with any kind of zombie show, you have characters who are dumb and do really dumb things. But in this world, they know about zombies, and they actually mention the movie Train to Busan, which is another Korean zombie movie that came out a few years back. That's excellent if you haven't seen it. But anyway, so these characters are familiar with zombies and a little bit about how they work and how the infection spreads. So once we get a grip that these characters are actually zombies, we learn how to combat them a little bit with our characters. But like I said, there's always dumb characters. We see a lot of characters, friends, die or get turned, and parents, all of that. And then what really annoyed me about the show is that there were so many plots that opened up, so many doors that open up in each episode, and they don't always give you a satisfying close to that. Some of the character motivations are very one-sided. Some of the characters' motivations and story endings are very unsatisfactory, but that's kind of the game with any kind of zombie media. But I did quite enjoy the zombies. I enjoyed what they did with it. They had some cool twists on a few of the zombies as well. And there were some likable characters, man. I got to say, there were like 3-4 characters that were so likable. Anything that happened to them, you were like on the edge of your seat biting your nails. So definitely worth the watch. I got to say the ending isn't my favorite, but the journey there was perfect. So definitely give it a watch. If you haven't, it is available on Netflix currently, and I give it a seal of approval, man. Thumbs up.
1 to Boo Boo Shoes. Where's it at?
It's definitely not Boo Boo Shoes. If I had to rate it, I'd probably give it a 7.5, maybe 8. It's definitely worth the watch.
Okay. All right. So pretty much what I got from all of that is zombies. And then pretty much Christian has come to a realization that Daenerys sucks and he had to take a step back. Got it.
No, not at all. I just needed a quick break from, dragons and backstabbing. No, absolutely. She's a reason to watch the show. I just wanted to take a quick break. I wanted to tell the people about something new, not something that they've already seen.
I'm into that. I like zombie stuff. I mean, that's right up my alley. Yeah. So that's pretty dope, actually.
It's totally worth it, man. These are if you've seen Train to Busan, it's like the same kind of type of zombies there. So they're out to get you. They will stop at nothing. And without giving anything away, like if you've seen Train to Busan, then you understand what you're about to get out of these zombies for the most part.
Do they run? Are they running zombies?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I'm screwed. Like if we get running zombies ever, I'm done for. There's no way. It's over.
Yeah, man, it's fantastic. I got to say, like, I am personally a fan of the running zombies more. If we lived in a world where zombies were a thing and that could happen, then obviously I would want to be cornered by the slower, dumber moving zombies for sure, because I'd have a better chance of living. Cardio isn't like my most well-known attribute, but if I need to run, I can totally run. So running from a creature that can also run and doesn't get tired, not necessarily the boat I want to be in.
Yeah, I think the running zombies are more terrifying personally. I would hope if zombies ever happen that we would get the slow ones, because that would more help me survive with these jacked up knees. But I mean, if it's running zombies, yeah, I'm pretty much screwed. There's no shot. I'm just gonna hunker down somewhere and yeah, I don't know. It'd be bad. It'd be really bad.
Understandable.
All right. So is that it for what you've been into this week?
Yeah, that'll do it for me as far as like watching things that we aren't already going to talk about for sure.
All right, bringing some culture to us. So a Korean zombie film. All right, nice. I have kind of been not all over the place. I've got a couple, two movies that I've watched. One we've already talked about, but I wanted to just hit on it briefly. But I'll start with something we talked about last week, What We Do in the Shadows. I finished it up to, I guess, whatever the current season is, waiting on the new season, and I've started rewatching it again with the wife. I freaking love that show. That show is hilarious. If you haven't watched it yet, it's on Hulu. Highly recommend it. It comes on FX as well. Hilarious vampire show. Super freaking funny. Like, I really, really like it. Really good show. The wife likes it, and it's been enjoyable. Very enjoyable watch. Finished that. And then we watched a movie called Deep Water that also come out on Hulu, starring Ben Affleck. It has, what is his name? Nate from Euphoria. Jacob something. I can't think of his name. A guy from American Horror Story. I can't think of what is American Horror Story. He was in the most recent season. The writer. People that watch the show probably don't know who I'm talking about. He was the writer that had to take a pill that would help his mind reach like new limits, but he also quenched like blood and meat and stuff like that. But it is a really interesting movie. It was a mystery psychological thriller. It is based off of Patricia Highsmith's novel of the same name, Deep Water, and I really liked it. Those that don't know what she has penned, also Patricia Highsmith, she penned the novels Strangers on Train and Talented Mr. Ripley. So, very good film. I don't think the IMDb score is that great, or Rotten Tomatoes. Me and Mrs. both liked it. We went in, we saw the trailer, and we're like, okay, it looks interesting. We'll watch it. We have, something to watch at night. Really liked it. It was pretty cool. I don't want to say too much. Essentially, Ben Affleck's wife is, dude, if she was my wife, there's no way. Like, she pretty much just goes and finds dudes. And she gets into relationships and they become her friends. I'm doing quotations for those that are not watching on YouTube. Her friends, in which she does, we don't know. I mean, we kind of do know, but it's not really shown what they do. You can let your mind run what they're doing, and he is supposedly cool with it. And pretty much she's like constantly pushing that button, and he's very calm. And then you'll see. Yeah. So I recommend watching it. Affleck, to me, some of Affleck's best roles are roles where, this is going to sound terrible, where he doesn't talk a lot. He's just kind of like a strong, silent type. I.e. like the accountant and stuff like that. I feel like he does really well in those roles where it's like when he speaks, it's almost, more meaningful rather than just like him having a lot of dialogue. And he does have dialogue, but it's not like excessive. And I thought he did pretty good in this. Christian may disagree on the roles. I feel like that's kind of his forte, like strong, silent type kind of thing. But it was a pretty good film. We liked it. Both of us enjoyed it. Ending was a little, I thought it was cool because it was different. I could see how people wouldn't like it. I'll say it that without ruin anything. Quick little thing about it. A well-to-do husband who allows his wife to have affairs in order to avoid a divorce becomes a prime suspect in the disappearance of her lovers. So that will give you pretty much all you need to know about it without going into stuff. But yeah, so interesting film. Watch that. And then I have rewatched The Batman. It came out on HBO this past Monday, I believe. And I have to say, I liked it a lot the first time I watched it. Second time, I like it even more. But I'm going to say one thing, and Christian, I'm sure it's going to like tingle his little Christian senses. I really like Riddler. I really like Penguin. Pat Bat has grown on me quite a bit. I like him. Still unsure about the hair, but it's not bothering me like I thought it would. Like, I'm a fan of pretty much everything. I really like the darkness of the movie, and I really like the movie. I'm still not sold on Catwoman. Not because she does anything wrong, not because she does a bad job, not because she's not going to be an awesome Catwoman. She doesn't feel like Catwoman. I know she's not Catwoman officially yet, but she doesn't, I don't know, something still doesn't feel, she hasn't taken the role for me yet, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I'm on the fence about her a little bit. Not because of any negative things she's done, but just, yeah.
I gotta ask, like, what exactly is a Catwoman to you? What does a Catwoman do? And the only reason why I say that, I ask it that way, is because if you go back, right? So we have, Catwoman from the 60s who's, everybody in that was pretty goofy. She's supposed to be sensual and goofy and, has that relationship with Adam West Batman. Then you have Michelle Pfeiffer for 2000.
That's my Catwoman. When I think of Catwoman, I think of Michelle Pfeiffer. I don't.
Right. Which you should. You absolutely should. So you have that Catwoman from 1992. But if you think about it, the reason why we love her so much is because her character has a bit of an arc. Her character has a bit of growth, but she's also dealing with something mentally. Like after her whole transformation into being Catwoman, there's a whole thing that she's dealing with when it comes to like her mental health and what her psyche is doing and all of that. So it's interesting to see that. So we have that Catwoman, like you said, the definitive Catwoman to most of us, if we actually look at Catwoman. And then you have, I'm not even going to count Halle Berry because that doesn't count to me. That's not even Catwoman.
I wouldn't count that either. I wasn't trying to be mean, but like, I don't know. I can't even really remember the Halle Berry Catwoman movie or anything.
It's literally a movie about two beautiful women fighting, and one of them, the villain, kills herself because she's not pretty anymore. Like you're not missing anything on that at all. So we'll just go to the next one. Then you have, what's her name from Dark Knight Rises?
Anne Hathaway?
Yes, thank you, Anne Hathaway. And Anne Hathaway's Catwoman was pretty sensual, but like that was her whole character. Even the way that she talked.
She wasn't a bad Catwoman to me.
But but was she even? The reason why you would even consider her to be Catwoman is because she had a catsuit on, and because I don't even remember if they called her Catwoman in that movie. Like at the top of my head, I don't remember. But like there wasn't she was a thief. So we got a scene of her trying to steal something. So that was cool. We got a scene of her stealing something from Bruce Wayne on a cane. So, we have that. And then the rest of the movie was just kind of her beating up like goons, and the fight scenes were not really good. And then she did break a guy's arm when she went to Blackgate. So that was cool. But other than that, like her and Bruce Wayne's relationship just kind of was weird. Like there wasn't a lot of chemistry. He had way more chemistry with Miranda or Talia, I guess. But not with Anne Hathaway. She kind of just like rode his what was it called? The Bat Pod in a sexy way. You know what I mean? So like, and then she killed Bane all of a sudden, like just shot him. So like her character was there for sure, but like it wasn't enough for me. So I guess the way that I feel about Anne Hathaway is the way that you feel about Zoe Kravitz, because Zoe Kravitz's character,
like I said, she's done nothing wrong. There's nothing in the character I can say I dislike her character, right? Like there's nothing. It's almost okay. How I would compare it is, do you remember when me and you talked about Spider-Man, the most recent one? I just went completely blank.
No Way Home.
Thank you. Okay, you remember how you said that he becomes Spider-Man for you in that movie? He hadn't felt like Spider-Man yet.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at with that. Like, doing a good job. She did a really good job. I think all acting in that movie was good in the Batman. I really like it. The more I watch it, the more I'm appreciating it. The score is freaking fantastic. I want to say that. I love the score to the movie. For some reason, she has not become Catwoman to me yet, is what I'm getting at. It's nothing negative. It's not anything she's doing wrong or anything in the writing. It's just, for me, and I know he's a year 2 Batman. You know, we're seeing all these different characters become who they are, and she's becoming the Catwoman, I get, but I don't know if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Yeah,
like, obviously, you said there's a trilogy. We'll see how it progresses. I'm sure I don't know. She'll grow more into it for me.
Right. I mean, like I said, I really enjoyed her as Catwoman. I don't really like her like kind of cowl, I guess, which is like the ski mask that has cat ears on it with the eyes cut out. Like, it's kind of weird to me. It's not like the best.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's proto Catwoman. She's not fully Catwoman yet, so I get it, and it doesn't bother me nearly as much as other things do. But with that said, man, I think it's cool that you like the movie. I love that you like the movie. I think it's okay that you didn't feel her as much as Catwoman, but I think at the end of the day, like, that makes sense. Like, you know, like I said, she's proto Catwoman, so we wouldn't be feeling 100% Catwoman vibes from her yet.
Right.
But I will say, if you read comics, then aside from Michelle Pfeiffer, who is still the reigning queen of Catwomen, Zoe Kravitz has so much in tune, so much taken from the comics. So I really, really enjoy that. I love seeing when movies about comic book characters actually use the source material, and there is like a whole arc of Catwoman's life that they actually put into the movie, and I really enjoy seeing that. So that's one of the reasons why I like her so much. But I think that if you're not a comic book fan in the way that I am for like Batman characters, then it is harder to see that. So like I said, it makes total sense.
Yeah, and like I said, there's nothing negative.
You.
Like, there's no, I think she did a shitty job as Catwoman. There's none of that. Like, it's a good role, and she's done a good job. Do what?
That's what you're saying. I know it. That's exactly what you're saying. You hate her.
No.
You think she sucks.
Not at all.
And we're gonna find you. The fans, we're gonna find you.
Not at all. Like,
okay,
but I will say, if I had to rank Penguin, Riddler, and her, she's third.
Fair. That's fair. Totally fair.
And it's really hard for me to pick between Penguin and Riddler. Like,
no, it's not.
I mean, Colin Farrell did a fantastic job. I really like his Penguin. Like you said in one podcast, he is just dirty. He's just a sleazy person, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Riddler, though, has like this dark, sadistic serial killer Zodiac thing going that I really dig for some reason. Like, I was really into that. Mrs. Sin didn't like when he took the mask off. She said he wasn't. She was disappointed in that, and I was like, well, that's what he looks like. Like, the Riddler is not some like impressive looking guy. He's a nerdy looking dude. Like, I don't know what you expected.
Why disappointed? I'm curious to hear why she was disappointed. I'm just wondering, is it because he doesn't look like you would expect, or is it because he looks so normal?
She was just like, he was kind of dorky looking and weird. She was like, it's not what I expected.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's the Riddler.
I guess, like, and this isn't an actual question. It's hypothetical for sure, because she's not here on the podcast with us. But I guess when you see a person who is, for all intents and purposes, a serial killer, somebody who has organized so many traps and caught people in so many lies in order to damn them even after they're already dead, what exactly does that person look like? Because I don't think that you can put a face to somebody who is that, evil, essentially. You know what I mean?
I guess she's just thinking, like, in the form of, like, if you think about Batman villains from, like, a cartoon or what we've seen previous, they have a more distinct look. If you, like, for the most part, like Two-Face or Joker or Bane or even the Penguin. And then he took off his mask and he was just this ordinary guy. But I was completely cool with it because, I mean, he's an ordinary guy. There's nothing. He's extremely intelligent. That's about his only. He has nothing crazy to him. He's just extremely intelligent.
Right. Absolutely. And I agree. I think we're on the same page with that. So, with that said, I was super excited for that, to see that. I like the role. And I got nothing bad to say, man. I love the movie. I can't wait to watch it again. I want to watch it, after this recording, but I just got so much to do. So we'll see.
I plan on watching it again in the future, like in the next week or so. I want to watch it. Me and Little Man will probably watch it again because, like, I've been watching it, and the more I watch it, the more I'm appreciating it. Again, I don't really have anything negative from the movie. Like, the 3-hour mark doesn't bother me, like it bothers some people. Again, the score and the way the movie is shot, I love. I like that there's not a lot of, like, real comedy. I mean, there's, like, one thing with the thumb drive, really. But other than that, it's more serious, more detective. I really liked it. I really, really liked it. I'm very excited for them to do more of them.
Me too, man. I can't wait.
All right, but we'll move along. We kind of got on a Batman tangent. I had to touch on it because I'd rewatched it. And if you haven't watched it, it's on HBO Max. Go watch it now. Highly recommend it. We would love to hear what you guys think. Hit us up on the socials about it. Moving on, watched the most recent episode of Moon Knight, and that will lead to our first segment. And since I just had a thing, I'm going to crack open this Whistle Pig Piggyback Barreled Age Rye Smash Session Citrus Mint beverage to sip upon while Christian tells me his thoughts on the most recent episode of Moon Knight. Ready, set? Oh, yeah. Hear that? That's the sound of victory, boys and girls. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whiskey!
All right. So what do you think about Moon Knight? Most recent episode.
So Moon Knight, new latest episode. Obviously, I enjoyed it quite a bit. There are things about Moon Knight that I love, and there are things about Moon Knight that I hate, or not hate, just dislike. So I'm gonna start with the things that I dislike first. What Layla's character. This episode just like I know this episode was supposed to put me on her side and make me really like her because she can hold her own in a fight and she's resourceful and this and that. But this episode made me really, really, really dislike her and Steven for that matter. So here's the thing. Mark Spector, the for all intents and purposes, the main personality, Mark Spector is married to Layla. They've been married. They've gone on these adventures. They've done these things, and we have that. That's awesome. The problem that I have is Steven wants Mark to go away forever so that he can live his life because he doesn't understand at this point that he is a personality that Mark created. He doesn't know that, of course, because that's not where we are in the show. So he wants him to go away. Mark agrees to go away once they've finished this thing with Khonshu. Khonshu's will, the whole reason for all of this isn't done. Khonshu, yes, is locked away, but Arthur Harrow is going to essentially be the vessel for this god, and she's going to judge everybody all at the same time for everything that they'll have or will do and kill everybody who's guilty of whatever. Okay, so they still have a job to do. My problem is instead of wanting to change that, to fix that, because it is in fact Steven's problem, he kind of led us here by not listening to Mark. Not only does he want Mark to be gone forever, but he also wants to be with his wife. Like, bro, I can't be on your side for that. That's a massive problem. And I know that they play it up because Marvel needs love interest in like everything that they do. I understand that they're going to play it for comedy because Marvel also does that all the time. So cool. It's, pieces of it are funny, but it's not because it's like, how would Steven even be in this position necessarily? Like why would you want to be with your other personality's wife? Like, I just don't get it. Whatever. Then you got Layla. They show us her at the beginning of the episode fending for herself, doing her Indiana Jones thing. That's awesome. But she let Harrow get in her head. So Arthur's telling her about Steven. I'm sorry, not Steven, about Mark and like her dad and how he died and that Mark was there and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. But we're in a tomb right now, like straight Indiana Jones style tomb that not only could come down on us, but there are people in this tomb searching for the same thing we're searching for with guns. We have no protection. We have no weapons. They have resurrected mummies and shit in this thing. And you're going to argue with me about how your dad died right now? Are you kidding me? And then he gets shot for it. Mark straight gets blasted twice in the chest because Layla had to have this argument with him right then and there, right before the people showed up. So like that aggravated me so much, dude. Like it took me clean out of the episode. I was pissed. The only thing that saved this episode for me was everything that Mark was going through, as far as him trying to come back out so that they could, live and not get killed, which they essentially do get killed. I understand the plight of that. I understand that he wants to talk to Layla when they're not trapped in the tomb. Steven spills the beans and tells Layla that, Mark is pushing you away because Conchi wants to take you as the next vessel, and Mark doesn't want that to happen. Like, that's Mark's business to tell, but it does make sense for Steven to go ahead and tell her that, just not when he did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was annoying, but like everything inside of Mark's mind, which is doubling as the asylum that he's in, fantastic. I loved all the Easter eggs. I loved Arthur Harrow. I love how we got Stephen Grant's name in this, even though it's a little bit different from the comics. Like, I love all of that stuff. Seeing the god at the end. I love the look of the god, but as soon as there was silence there, and I can't remember the name of the hippo god right now, I apologize. But as soon as we saw her and they paused, I looked over and I was like, I bet that they're going to play this for comedy. And then they totally did. And they ended the episode with comedy. And I was like, the problem is there's so much comedy in this show. I know that you need comedy to break up suspenseful moments, but that wasn't the time. I don't think it took me out of the episode once again. Now, with that said, I do think this is one of the strongest episodes that we've gotten. I think shit's finally starting to hit the fan. I think that we're finally starting to see more growth in all these characters. Absolutely. It's just the way that they wrote some of these characters and their motivations in this episode, I just did not like. Like I said, with the negatives out of the way, I really did enjoy the episode, regardless of how much I have complained. I really liked the visuals in this episode. I really loved everything in the asylum that doubles as Mark's mind. I really love how they had all the Easter eggs to characters we've already seen. The Golden Man, the guy who was getting mummified at the beginning of the episode, who was the sacrifice. I love how they showed Harrow and how he still had his sandals on. I love how they showed all the other gods in the Ennead that were on the mantle behind Mark as he was trying to escape. I love that they had the personality of Steven in a sarcophagus. I love how we had another personality that was trying to break out that's most likely going to be Jake Lockley.
Yep. I was going to say the same thing about that. I think that's true.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it just makes the most sense. It can't be Moon Knight because he's locked away, right? Because Moon Knight, contrary to popular belief, Moon Knight is another personality. There is Mark Spector. There is Jake Lockley. There is Stephen Grant. There is Moon Knight, and there's Mr. Knight. There are at least 5 personalities. And a lot of people don't really think about that because they see Mark and they're like, oh, well, he just puts a suit on and then he's Moon Knight. That's how they're playing it on the show. But in the comics, that is not the case. Moon Knight is his own person. Mr. Knight is his own person. Mark Spector is his own person, so forth. So, like, I want to see how the show is going to streamline all of this at the end, because we only have 2 episodes left.
Yep.
So I want to see how they're going to streamline this to make it make sense, because we won't get another season of this until the next 3 years possibly. It's going to be a while before we get a season 2 of Moon Knight. So
why is it so long until we get another season?
I'm just kind of guessing on that, because we got, let's see, the end of last year, we got season 1 of all the other shows. We don't know when we're going to get season 2 of any of those shows yet. As of the time of this recording, I don't think they've announced season 2 for these things and the dates. So if they do them, that means that they would have to put those out after the movies come out, which are coming out, this summer. So at best, we would get something next year. But that's not, like I said, it's not set in stone yet because they still have to introduce so many other characters. They got Blade coming out, Doctor Strange is getting ready to come out. Then you got Thor, which we finally got a teaser trailer for that's coming out, and they have to introduce all the new Avenger characters that they're going to be putting into these movies. And then they still have another Spider-Man movie. And if what Tom Holland said this past year is to be, or this year, excuse me, if that's still to be true, then he doesn't want to play the character of Spider-Man forever and, past 25, maybe 26 to be respectful. But like, they have to kind of streamline some of these other movies. And then they still got like their stuff with the X-Men, the Fantastic Four that they're working on. So like, I just think that they don't have the time to put out stuff as much as we would want. And I think the point is they keep putting out shows that have this big budget that are 6 episodes apiece, to kind of bridge the gap between the movies and to also hold us over until those movies come out as well. So, not everybody has Disney Plus, but anybody can go to the movies. So I think that's that's just the play that I see. So I think 2 years at best, 3 years if, we're not so lucky. But yeah, that's what I got to say about the episode. I did enjoy it. I really liked the latter half of the episode. I loved the latter half of the episode. It's just the Layla motivations and all that, and Steven, actually, his motivations just really bothered me at the beginning of this episode because it just didn't match up with the characters in general from what we've seen. So that was just very annoying to me. But with that said, man, those are my thoughts. Like I said, I enjoyed it. It definitely was not without its issues and flaws. But I'm really excited to see the penultimate episode and then the finale episode. So we'll see what happens.
So I wanted to ask, do you think one of the gods that are trapped would be the guy, I can't remember the name, so forgive me, from Black Panther that you've talked about, you've been wanting to see? Do you think that's one of the ones that's imprisoned or trapped, kind of like Khonshu is?
Oh, you mean Bast?
Yes.
The Panther god?
Yes.
So I would love for one of those gods to be Bast, but I doubt that they'll do that because they have that whole Chadwick Boseman problem to kind of fix or to navigate. So I doubt that Bast will make an appearance. I doubt that they'll even mention Bast. I think that'll just be an Easter egg for comic lovers. Because if they were going to even mention Bast, they should have done that already. When they showed us the Ennead. And like I said, they showed us the Ennead, but they didn't show us all of the gods. The Ennead are just the council of all of these other gods and goddesses that are in that universe. There are plenty of them, and we saw quite a few of them locked in stone at the beginning of this episode as well. So I would love that, but I don't think that that's one of the gods that's going to be trapped in there, just because I don't think that they want to do too many allusions to Black Panther right now.
Gotcha. I thought the episode was good. I'm like you. I like the latter half of it. The Asylum part was great. I think Oscar Isaac is doing a fantastic job. I was very engrossed in that part. It was also very trippy to go from Mark getting shot and you'd be like, okay, how's this going to happen? Or like, what's going to happen here into Asylum? It's a really good transition, I think. And it's a really cool way for his alters to meet. And you have like face to face of Steven and of Mark. I liked it. There were some parts. There were some really cool Easter eggs. I think it's when they were going to the tomb. There's a goat. They're on like a dried riverbed, which kind of is like the River Nile or something, I believe. Kind of like
definitely the River Nile. Yeah. And I forget that god's name, but that's the god.
It's a Easter egg to a god, though, is what I'll say. I can't remember the god's name either, but yeah. But there's a lot of stuff like that, and then a lot of the symbolism in the Asylum is really cool. But I thought it was a pretty solid episode. I'm very excited to see how we kind of wrap it up, like you said, with this next episode and then the finale. It sucks that we're going to have to wait a while. I'm hoping Moon Knight will make some appearances in other stuff, maybe movies and things, because I definitely want to see more of Moon Knight after watching this show. So, but overall, I liked it. I mean, you pretty much summarized and said a lot of things that I wanted to say, so I'm not going to rehash them for time's sake. And yeah, but pretty solid episode. I'm not a fan of her either. I want to throw that out there. I'm not a fan of that character. I really don't care about any of that for the most part. Like, that's just whatever. That's almost like filler for me in the episode. Like, it serves no real purpose to me. I get what they're trying to do. I just don't care.
That's absolutely fair, man. And realistically, that's about how I feel about it as well, man. Like some of the stuff with the love triangle and shit, like you just don't really need that, but that's Marvel's way. So I
Yeah.
get it.
It's I don't know. It just I want more. I really like the Egyptian lore, all the stuff going on with that with the gods. Steven has his moments. He is 100% the comedic relief. He has his moments, so I do feel like he's getting a little more serious. Some of his actions this episode were kind of weird, but he's getting a little more serious and a little more like serving a purpose rather than I'm just an idiot running around. You know, like he actually has a purpose being like the Egyptian expert and stuff. But other than that, yeah. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully these next 2 episodes bring it home pretty well for us. All in all, though, I have enjoyed the show. I do wish it was a little darker. It's probably terrible on my part, but I do wish it was a little darker. But as someone, like I said, that's never read the comics, I have enjoyed the show. And I actually do want to read the comics after that because I would like to know more. Egyptian mythology and all that stuff is really cool. So it's been interesting, and the avatars and all that. So we are going to segue from that to we had a trailer this past week come out. Stranger Things 4 trailer come out. Pretty cool trailer. Really excited for it. It comes out the first part. I believe it's a 2-parter now. For some reason, they're doing a 2-parter. I'm not really sure why. Maybe filming over COVID. They filmed half of it and then something. I don't really know the reasoning. Christian may know, but they're breaking it into 2 parts. And the first episode of season 4 will come out May 27th, and then they'll have, it looks like 5 episodes coming out May 27th, and then you'll get episodes 6, 7, 8, and 9 on July 1st. So you'll get the second part of the season, and it's reported that each episode cost $30 million to shoot, which is crazy.
That's insanity.
Yeah,
that's
it's
crazy.
high. One thing I want to note about the trailer is there is an addition to the cast this season, which is Robert Englund, the horror icon, Freddy Krueger, for those that don't know. I'm pretty excited about that, actually. I'm curious to see what his role is and kind of what he does in the show. The trailer overall was pretty good. Sweet 80s music playing over it while they showed the characters. You know, definitely, I'm going to say they're in high school at this point. For sure, maybe getting out of high school. I'm not really sure, like, the age. But you can definitely tell they've all aged, so it's definitely a good time to wrap it up with how the kids are growing up.
Yeah, for sure.
You do see some characters that you may have been questionable, wondering what happened to them at the end of the other season in the trailer, which it's already been kind of shown, so it's not like it's a spoiler. I'm not going to say names in case you've avoided all trailers, but yeah, you do see some people in the trailer kind of confirming they will be in this season. And they show what looks like the new main bad guy. And if you're watching on YouTube, I am showing him now on the screen. I have a theory I'm going to throw out here. It could be way off. I don't know. At first, when I first saw it, because when they show Robert Englund, he has like his eyes are sewn shut or something's up with his eyes. And you can tell it's Robert Englund with like the face, right? When they showed this other character and kind of how it stood up and like, formed is not the right word, but how it was revealed. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. I first thought it was, that's Robert Englund maybe in a different form. But thinking about it, I'm going to make a bold prediction. And this is just a left field prediction, and it could be super off, and it probably is. But I'm going to say this is Papa from the previous seasons. That
really?
The scientist that I guess was over the center that L was at, or not L, 11, sorry, whatever. Yeah. I'm going to say it's him. I just have, for some reason, it feels like that would be a crazy way to wrap it up, to bring him back, to have that as like almost the final villain in like some kind of crazy, for lack of a better term, demonic form maybe. But that's my prediction. Could be way off. I don't know. Christian, did you see the trailer at all, or are you avoiding all trailer stuff right now, or?
Yeah, I am avoiding trailers. I don't know how long. Excuse me. I don't know how long I'll be able to avoid the trailers for this because I'm sure they'll ramp up here soon. But as of right now, I'm just kind of just minding my business and waiting for it to drop for a couple of reasons. One, I don't really want anything to be spoiled for me, and two, I'm trying to. I really want to go into this not knowing too much because for me personally, like I don't care as much about Stranger Things as I used to, and that's because I've had so much time away from it. It's been out of sight, out of mind for years now. So I'm really trying to figure out, like, do I want to watch this because I still love Stranger Things and I think it's still one of the best things on TV, or because I just want to see how it's going to end and how it's done, you know? So that's essentially what I'm waiting for. But like I said, I have no idea if I will be able to stay away from all of the Stranger Things news. Like, for all I know, I'll wait until the end of this recording and then go watch everything and then just go down the rabbit hole because that's how it is for me, man. That's how it is for me. But like I said, I haven't watched anything yet. I've been staying strong. Do I think this will last? Probably not. I'm pretty sure I'm going to break and just watch everything and then start posting my own, thoughts and possible spoilers about the show. But we'll see. I am excited, however, that Robert Englund's in it because Robert Englund is a legend.
Yep.
Love him. I love his work. Obviously, there's no Freddie better than him. There will never be a Freddy better than him. I don't think anybody would argue that.
Facts.
And
yeah, there's no argument there.
Yeah, right. It shouldn't be. And he's just a good person. He's a good human being. I've never heard one account, never read one interview, never seen anything that paints him in a light that's not one of the best human beings in the world. So I just really like the man, and I can't wait to see him doing more stuff.
So, fair enough. I will say and if you've watched the show at all, it's kind of always been painted as 11 is the hero that's going to save him, right? Like, she has the powers, all that stuff. And they definitely hyped that up again in this trailer, saying something like they need her more than ever or something. I don't know, something along the lines of that. And she's the only one that can do it and all that, which, if you've seen the show, I mean, that's pretty much every season. They have to have her to stop Demogorgons or whatever, evil is after him at this point. It is crazy to think the first episode aired July 15th of 2016. This show has been on or ongoing with the same cast for, 6 years now? It's time to wrap it up. The kids are getting older. They're all moving on to different projects.
They're not even kids anymore, man. They're adults now.
True. Facts. Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong on that. But it's crazy to think you literally have watched, this is the 4th season, we've watched them grow up through Stranger Things. And a lot of them are doing, like I said, different things. It and other Godzilla movies and stuff like that. Like, they're moving on. It's good to see. So I'm excited for it. The trailer was pretty good, of course. Hyped it up pretty well. And moving on to the next thing, we got some gaming news. So speaking of Godzilla, I wanted to briefly touch on it. I really have nothing, really planned for it. But today, Call of Duty Warzone announced they have a event coming, I think sometime in May 11th or something like that, where they have Godzilla and King Kong doing something in the map. I'm not sure how that's going to work with their Battle Royale. You're going to drop in and I guess maybe Godzilla and King Kong are going to be battling out and destroying stuff while you're trying to get shot in a Battle Royale setting. I don't know how it's going to work, but they have some kind of thing going with them. It's going to be interesting to see because you can't really make a Godzilla skin for people to run around in Warzone, I wouldn't think. Now, you have Snoop Dogg, so I guess you could, but I don't know how that would work. I don't know. I'm curious to see how that event works. It's a cool announcement. Definitely not something you would have expected. But we'll see how all that plays out with that. That was announced. Another gaming thing, Halo Infinite. I'm a big Halo fan. And Halo Infinite had a Battle Royale mode leaked and possible release date. Xbox insider Jez Corden pretty much confirmed that, let's see, it said Certain Affinity confirmed it's working on further evolving Halo Infinite alongside 343 Industries. It's a huge mode. The mode has been in development for over 2 years. It's saying that, let's see, it's a Call of Duty Warzone scale undertaking. And pretty much Certain Affinity would be over the Battle Royale, while 343 would keep the core game and multiplayer modes. It's stating that it will come out around Season 3 or 4, roughly, with Season 2 coming the start of May in Halo, so not too far off. It says, Corden also alleges that the user-generated content from Forge Mode will be tied into Battle Royale in some manner, which is interesting. I'm not sure how that would work. But it says Forge Mode is coming out in Season 3 also. So, yeah. I'm curious how this is going to work. My thing with Halo Infinite, it was a fantastic game. I really liked it. Really liked the campaign. Really loved the multiplayer and what they had. My problem is they have not been releasing content. We've had the same maps. There's been no new maps. I think Season 2 gets 2 maps. They're getting some modes. Some of them are going to be rotated in and out. It makes it stale if you're playing every day. For example, me streaming every day. If I'm playing the same 5 maps over and over again, you want something a little different. You get tired of that same map, the same rank grind. They need to be some kind of content. They do put out LTMs. It's on the same maps. They're different style game modes. Those have been fun and can be fun for a little bit, but again, same maps and stuff like that. The Battle Royale, Halo has everything that would be perfect for a Battle Royale. I mean, the lore fits into it perfectly. The weapons, all of it. I can only imagine, like, in my fantasies, Master Chief or you as a Spartan jumping, everybody jumping all around the map, BRing people, sniping from across the map in a Battle Royale mode. Whether it's a true Battle Royale mode or not, I don't know. I'm not sure how they're going to put their spin on it. But I am curious about this. Hopefully this leak is true, and it would be pretty big for the Halo franchise to have that, because Call of Duty was kind of in a stale state, and then Warzone come out and made Call of Duty very relevant. And Warzone actually has more numbers than the Call of Duty multiplayer games each year. So this would be pretty good for it if the Battle Royale is good and they can keep content coming into it with a different studio doing it. That's big, I feel like. That helps 343 focus on their other game, and then they can have this one doing that. Hopefully, like other games, the Battle Pass and stuff will tie together. You know, if you play multiplayer, your progress will roll over to the Battle Royale and so forth. They also said they're shortening the seasons, which is big because the game come out in November, I believe. Yeah, because it come out right when my son was born. It come out in November, and we are just now about to get a new season here in May. So the seasons were way too long. They're shortening them to about a 3-month season, which is, I feel like, about normal for a Battle Royale or any game that has a Battle Pass. Around 3 months is, I think, the sweet spot. So hopefully it will be good. Interesting leaks, though, that kind of confirmed it. There's been speculation about this for a while. And, yeah, I'm hoping it is really good. They've announced some other modes, but we won't go into all that today for Season 2. We'll save that for another episode. We'll talk more about, some of the Halo news and stuff like that. But Battle Royale leak possibly confirmed, so hopefully it's coming. There has been leaked of the audio with the iconic voice saying, like, Battle Royale and all that stuff, and so hopefully that comes out. I do know it was speculated at one point it was going to be called Last Spartan Standing, but that is a mode that's actually in Season 2 that is not Battle Royale, so we'll see. We'll see what happens in the future, and if any of this is true, hopefully it is. And Christian, do you have anything you want to add on either one of those topics? I know you're not a big Battle Royale or a shooter fan for that matter.
Right. Honestly, no. I don't really have anything to add to that because of the reasons you just said. For the Halo fans, I hope that you get more content for your money's worth. It's the same way I feel about any games that I'm into. Fighters, RPGs. I want to get the most bang for my buck. So if they're gonna introduce a new mode to Halo and it's gonna put Halo back in the eyes of gamers for a little bit, back in the zeitgeist, then go for it. I think it's the Battle Royale modes, honestly, man, like they're not really my cup of tea, and that's why I haven't been on shooters in a while. I did play shooters up until about, when the Battle Royale thing started happening, I guess. And like I said, it's just not for me. No judging anybody who's into it, anybody who likes it, anybody who plays it. But here's the thing for me. I don't play video games in general. I don't play them just so I can play them online with other people. I like to play video games because they're fun. For me, I like to play them because the stories are good or the fighting system or whatever is good. Playing with people is amazing, but if you buy a game and the only enjoyment you get out of it is playing it with other people online, that's just not enough. So for me, so no, like I said, no disrespect to anybody who loves that, who's into that, who wants more of that. That's just not the kind of games that I want to play necessarily. So that's why when games like Elden Ring come out, I'm all over it, because those are the types of games that I'm into. I want to play a game that's going to take me a while to get through. I don't want to play a game where I'm doing the same thing over and over again, unless it's a fighting game. Like, I don't want to play the same game over and over again, doing the same things, and having a good day or a bad day when it comes to getting shot by somebody who's really good at scoping or no scoping or whatever.
All right, I have to call Christian out on that then. I have to call him out real quick. First off, what Christian's saying, listeners and people on YouTube, is if you play a shooter, you suck, and he hates you all, and all shooters suck.
Oh, my God.
Okay, second thing Christian's saying is he doesn't want to play games where he does the same thing over and over again. But I will say, from personal experience, playing Dead by Daylight with Christian, this man got put on more hooks and then would leave me, once I saved him in my heroic fashion, every game, he would leave me to die. So that, in definition, is doing the same thing over and over again, sir.
So to clear that up, to clarify, the reasons why, and it wasn't all the time, but the reasons why you did get left is because you would come and save me, but you really like to like antagonize the killer and come and save me and then like be fucking around, and I had to get out of there, because if you get put on the hook a second time, man, the chances of you getting off are.
Christian, I have to ask, what's the purpose of the game? To escape, right? Yeah, here I am trying to escape, and I have to go save you every game, and then you leave me. So,
This is also, just for the listeners, this is also like very, very early into the career of Dead by Daylight, when nobody really knew what the hell they were doing.
Yeah, this is this is years ago. I don't even.
And I've learned since then that playing Survivor isn't for me. Playing Killer, however, that's a different story. I'm much, much better at doing that now that I know how, at least the killers that we were playing with at the time, I know how they work. I know what to do, what not to do, when you can hit at people, when you should chase people, when you should stop chasing people. Like, that's stuff that you have to learn by just playing the game over and over. So yeah, I do that. That kind of stuff is a little bit more fun, because horror is definitely like my genre of choice anyway. So it's
Are you going
more
to play Texas Chainsaw Massacre game?
I don't know. I actually haven't seen a bunch on that. I've been looking at what Evil Dead's going to look like, but it kind of looks like more of the same. So
I think it's going to be honestly similar, because it's made by the people that Gun Media and stuff that made the Friday the 13th game, the Texas Chainsaw. So I think it's going to be similar-ish, but I'm going to play it. I'm excited.
I mean, it would make sense. I can totally see that a game like that coming out at this point would be another asymmetrical game. That's just kind of how those work at this point. So hopefully when it comes out, they'll have modes in the game that are just much more accessible to people and that are more fun to play for longer periods of time. I'm not asking for too much when it comes to these games. I just really want like the there to be balance, Like, you don't want to play a game like that, an asymmetrical game like that, where the killer is like impossible to kill, or the survivors are impossible to get a hold of. There has to be a good balancing in those games. And every single time one of those games comes out, somebody's like super OP, and it's always hard to really see what's going on, because everything sounds good on paper, and then when it's put into play, people find ways around things and to make things not as fair. So like, I'm sure there's going to be a curve, like a learning curve. That's just kind of par for the course. But just make the game fun, man. Make it look good. Like, I'd rather wait on them making a game like that and putting time and money into making the game look fire than playing a game that looks like doo-doo, but it's kind of fun. Like, nah, man, give me what I want. If I'm paying full game price for this game that's not actually a full game that I'm going to have to keep buying stuff for, you better give me everything you got while you can give it to me. Keep my attention. Make me want to spend the money if you're going to do that to me. Like, make me want those things. So that's what I want from those types of games. I'm not going to lie. But am I going to play Texas Chainsaw? Am I going to play Evil Dead? Hell yeah, I'm going to play them, because I love horror. I love those franchises. I love those characters. So absolutely, just take your time and make them good, for the love of God. Just make them good.
So
That's all I want.
what we've learned on this podcast, ladies and gentlemen, is A, Christian hates all people that play shooters and hates shooters. B, he's a horrible teammate. And yeah, that's about what we got. And he loves horror.
I am not a horrible teammate. I will say, you know what? When it comes to teammates,
See, chat, if you just keep on, you tilt him, and it's easy to do. This is why terrible teammate.
You will watch somebody in these games make a mistake, not say a word, watch them get killed or put on a hook or whatever, and then after it's too late, then tell them exactly what's going on. Oh, hey, by the way, I saw that guy behind you. Hey, you're dying on the hook. Like, you'll do stuff like that. You'll antagonize me. You'll antagonize the killers and all of that. And then you want me to come back and save your ass? No, sir.
What
No,
about
sir.
me fixing generators, and then I'm over here doing stuff, and you can't fix a generator, and then you're on a hook, and you're like, hey, bro, hey, come help me. Hey, can you come get me? And I come get you, and it's the same thing.
The whole run or job.
And speaking of you being a killer, I think there's a clip somewhere on the internet, somewhere, from us playing, and I was like Barry Sanders juking you when you were the killer. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, it exists. I don't think that exists.
It exists. But we went off on a tangent. I want to say, I think the last shooter I played with you, or remember you even really playing, I'm sure you've probably played something since then. Maybe, well, you've probably played like Doom or something since then. But the last thing I really remember you playing was Fortnite Save the World. Which I don't guess that's really a full-on shooter, but it has shooter elements. Back then, not Battle Royale, for those that don't know, there was a whole different thing, and we were all hyped up. A whole group of us played Fortnite Save the World. The day it dropped, actually. I think we were on it.
Before they had like merch and stuff like that in Target and you know, kids were spending millions of dollars on Fortnite when it first came out, and it was like what, $20 to download when it first dropped. Yeah, I played a bunch of.
We also called that it would be big too. We just didn't know it would be big for another reason other than the Save the World game. But technically, we were right because Fortnite become massive.
Yeah, and we really enjoyed Fortnite Save the World. We were just waiting for them to drop newer material like we were promised. But that's the thing, though, with these types of games, you know? Like, they were doing what they were supposed to be doing for a little bit, updating everything, and then they decided to drop that and do the whole Battle Royale thing, because I think that's around the time where, what was the game you just mentioned, Warzone?
No, Warzone went out yet. It was PUBG was the big Battle Royale. You had like H1Z1, and then you had PUBG was like the big one taking over, and Fortnite come out. So I remember playing it. They let people that had Save the World play like a closed thing where you could test it out. And I remember I played like a match or two and was like, okay, so it's like Fortnite, but PUBG. Like you're playing PUBG, but it's like in a Fortnite world. Gotcha. You can build like little things. Okay, cool, whatever. And then I was done with it. And then next thing I know, it's like the biggest game in gaming at the time, and I was like, oh shit. And then I started really playing it then, like not long after. I wish I would have just stuck with it because I was streaming Save the World and doing all that stuff. I dropped the ball on that one.
Yes, sir. But like I said, it wasn't as fun for me because they changed the whole dynamic of the game. And you were saying it, but it was the H1N1 game that was out, or was no, what was it called?
H1Z1.
H1Z1. Thank you. H1Z1 was definitely the game that was out, because I remember another buddy of ours, Monster, was playing that a lot and was always asking you to play. And that was definitely where they took a bunch of inspiration from right before like Warzone and all that got popular. But like I said, those types of games just didn't really resonate with me very, very much so. So it wasn't as fun. And right around the time when Fortnite adopted the whole Battle Royale thing is when I dropped it and I started playing other stuff. So yeah,
they have done some changes to Save the World. I never beat the story to that game because I'd always end up doing the same mission, helping, because like I would be in the game with you and we would do the same thing, or I would help Mrs. Sin or some of our other buddies, and I felt like I was doing the same thing over and over again. So I never really progressed, or we just worked on our base doing stupid stuff.
You're building stuff, yeah, man.
Yeah, that was fun though. That was a good time. All right. While we're on Fortnite, before we go to the next topic, I just want to say, since we talked about Moon Knight, there is a Moon Knight skin in the Fortnite shop. And if you out there in the listening world or viewing world play Fortnite and want the Moon Knight skin, Be sure to use code IamSinister when you're using all your Epic purchases, or if you're just picking up a game through the Epic Store. Code IamSinister. Hey, I hear it's a really good one, and it makes your aim better, and it makes games run better and look better, and yeah, makes you get like +5 intelligence overall. IamSinister. Code for the Epic Store. Okay, moving on though. Had to get that little shameless plug out of the way.
Of course.
Do you want to lead this next subject? I know you've been following it pretty closely, but Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. The trial has been going on for the last couple days, I believe. I've kind of kept up with it briefly, but I know you've been following it fairly closely. Do you want to go into it?
Yeah, no problem. So like I didn't follow the beginning of the trial. Like I kind of started yesterday at the time of this recording, watching it, and I know that now they're done for the week. So what's going on is they'll reconvene on Monday. They're still not done with Johnny's cross-examination, but I gotta say, for those of you who have been watching it, and even for those of you who haven't, Johnny's cross-examination has been pretty bad. Like Amber Heard's team, like her attorneys, like thought that they were prepared, but they're not, because Johnny is very smart. He's very eloquent with his words. He's very poetic. He does talk for a long period of time. Like him answering a question usually takes about 20 minutes a piece. But with that said, because of the way that he answers questions, he has gotten under the skin of Mr. Rodmore, which is the attorney of Amber Heard. And it's really funny to see, because Johnny Depp, even though they're trying to paint him right now to be like this wife beater, this abuser, this alcoholic, this drug addict. Like, I mean, and these things aren't necessarily too far off, mind you, but these are things that Johnny has already stated about himself and whatnot. So it's not as damning to him. If you're on the jury, it's not as damning because he's already gotten in front of this and said a lot of this stuff. So they're painting this picture, trying to paint this picture of Johnny Depp to be this terrible, violent human being. And he's just got the jury and everybody in attendance right now just laughing at what he's saying, because he's getting under the guy's skin. He's using words, that the guy's not expecting. He's doing all kinds of things to make himself look good, and the attorney on the defense is not helping him look bad. He's helping him look better. So it's really funny to see that. But before he was getting cross-examined, he pretty much kind of told everybody about his relationship with Amber Heard and like what was going on and how he was getting abused and how they were arguing all the time, and every time they would argue would turn into a physical altercation by Amber Heard. And a lot of, at this time anyway, the time of this recording, a lot of the evidence shows that Amber Heard is an antagonizer, that she is definitely the one that is physically abusing Johnny Depp, that she's definitely definitely the one who is essentially picking fights. You know what I mean? Like you can see that very clearly in what he says and what he does and the stories he's told and the evidence that he's shown, pictures, videos, all that, audio. And man, I gotta say, like, if I were Amber Heard, I would be scared that I was gonna lose this. Absolutely. And for those of you who don't know, like, full disclosure, like, I am Team Johnny in this.
Didn't it start with her saying he was like an abuser or something like that? Like,
yeah, for sure.
Okay, and he's pretty much he turned around and he's suing her for like defamation. Just to like.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So when they got divorced, she divorced him and won that suit for $7 million. And one of the allegations was, from Johnny and his team, is that she really only married him for money. And she wanted to stick it to him, essentially, from what it seems like in the proceedings. She wanted to stick it to him and say, well, I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this for all women everywhere who have ever been abused by men and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, that's really cool. So she wanted all of her money, that's $7 million, to be paid out to charities, right? So instead of Johnny and his team paying her the $7 million and whatever the installments are, because you don't just pay all that at one time, but whatever the installments are, he's paying that and he's giving it directly to the charities instead of her. And she got pissed. And then she's, on record again saying stuff like, you piece of shit, I should have sued you for 14 million and blah blah blah. And I'm just like, man, that's crazy. And so it's a shit show, man. Like, their relationship has been terrible. Today, as a time of this recording, while he was getting cross-examined, the attorney that is, that's painting this picture of Johnny Depp is bouncing all over the place, dude. Like, he's presenting evidence from 2013, then he jumps to 2015, then he jumps to 2012 again, then he jumps back to 2000. It's crazy. There is no rhyme or reason as to why he is jumping to evidence and all this. He just wants Johnny Depp to say yes to everything. But like I said before, Johnny is way too smart to just say yes to everything. He's calling this guy out in a very eloquent way, mind you, but like, it's really funny. Now, there were some texts that came out earlier today from Johnny that were, really damning. They're really bad.
See,
like, there's a text.
I saw like a clip of some of the text. Like, I guess it was when it was happening live. Like, there was like a little thing showing some of the proceedings. I only saw like 2 texts before I like stopped paying attention to it. And none of it, like, really even tied in anything. Like, one of them to me, like, he said something like, he gave her a kiss or said some sweet stuff, and she didn't say anything, and he just hopes she's okay. He just wants to make sure she's okay. And I think this was to Amber's sister. I could be wrong, though, that Johnny was texting. And then the next one, like, they brought up that what the court was documenting was something about, there's a book called Disco Bloodbath or something. And I was like, what? How does this have anything in correlation to, like, he's showing he cares about her, and then another one's about a book. Like, I don't understand how this is bringing it on Johnny, but I didn't see any more of the text, so the rest of them may have tied in more. But other than that, like, everything else was just, kind of like you said, everything they said, like, they were bouncing around. They weren't really helping their case defense-wise. I heard an audio recording of her pretty much, like, admitting she hit him, and she punched him, and, like, was just talking mad shit to him and like running him down and all this stuff. There is one funny clip I have seen before I send it back over to you, and you were talking about the drugs and all that. And Johnny's definitely not denying it, but they said something about a picture of a cocaine box or something that had the initials JD on it, and they're like, was this yours? And is this true? And he goes, yes, it was. And he was like kind of proud of it, and it was pretty damn funny. Just how he answered is like, oh my God, like, he gives no shits about that. Like, that's not affecting him. But
yeah, like, it's funny because here's the thing, like, there's this beautiful composition on the picture, and it's the JD box, and there's like 2 lines of cocaine and a bunch of whiskey and some wine that's $500 a bottle, mind you. Like, all this stuff on the table, and the guy was trying to get Johnny to admit that was his box of cocaine, and Johnny was like, yeah, that's my box. I got it as a gift, but I'm not in that picture. You don't see me doing the cocaine. And it's really funny. And the guy, like I said, was constantly trying to get omission from Johnny Depp that, like, yeah, this is my box that I keep cocaine in. And Johnny straight up said, he was like, from my experience with, the white stuff, or Whitey I think is what he called it. My experience with Whitey is, you don't want to put it in a box, because when you walk around, then you're going to have a trail of cocaine behind you that's falling out of this box. He was like, from my experience, you would want to have it in some kind of baggie or whatever, because he's already admitted, like, the day prior that he's done, he doing all kind of drugs and stuff and blah, blah, blah. And like most actors do, that's the lifestyle. Like, that's not news to if you follow actors and actresses in Hollywood in general at all, then you know that drugs and alcohol are kind of how all of them cope with whatever problems they may have. But but like, hearing them say that they do all these drugs, like, especially if you're a younger listener or viewer, it's like, oh man, I can't believe this. Oh my God. But the thing is, and like, this guy was failing really hard at trying to get Johnny to admit certain things. And it's just really funny because, like, a lot of people were saying, oh man, this lawyer or this attorney sucks. He's really bad. And I was like, I don't think he's bad. I think he's just not prepared to talk to somebody as smart as Johnny Depp. That's the problem. And like I said, I'm team Johnny, even though I think that both of these people are going to be fine, because Johnny's like rich. Well, he lost a shit ton of money.
It screwed up his career too, some, because he's lost some jobs over this. including was it
What
the Harry
Jobs?
Potter? What's not Harry Potter, but Fantastic Beasts or
Fantastic.
whatever that role,
Yeah.
and I don't remember what else.
Let me just tell you some stuff that Amber Heard's done, dude. Let me just run that by
Before
you.
you say anything, is she still in Aquaman?
Uh, until further notice, but like, here's the thing: after this trial, no matter what happens, like, Aquaman 2 is something that I'm not going to be interested in if she's still like profiting from this the way that I think that she might. Like,
I think they should
I'm not.
replace her. Just saying, I'm just throwing this out there. Like, I think after all this, and especially Johnny losing stuff, if it turns around and she is guilty and stuff, I feel like the stuff that's come out about her with like the abuse and all, why not replace her? And I'm gonna go on your girl's side for a minute. Jason Momoa has great chemistry with Daenerys. Put a red wig on her. Let her be your new. Was it Mara? Mara? Who is Amber Heard playing in Aquaman?
Mira.
Yeah,
That's right.
let her be that. There you go. Problem solved by Amber Heard. That's my opinion. Okay, now continue with your statement. Sorry.
No problem. Anyway, so Amber Heard has, on numerous occasions, physically fought Johnny Depp, like hit him, kicked him, all kinds of stuff. Like punch. I'm talking about punching like a boxer, like trying to hurt this person. She's done plenty of that. So that's just abuse, no matter how you slice it. She is responsible for his finger, the tip of his finger being severed, like cut off. Chunks of meat hanging out. She threw a handle of vodka at him. It busted on his finger and like cut it all up. She's definitely scratched him a bunch. There's all kinds of evidence for that. She got mad at him when he told her that he was leaving, like when he was like fully done, and wanted a divorce and all that. She got pissed off. She got in his way, so he couldn't leave the room. He says, "What are you gonna do? You're gonna hit me? Go ahead." So she punched him clean in the face, and he said, "Go ahead, get you another one." She punched him in the face again. Then he like physically grabbed her, put her on the bed, and was like, "I'm leaving. Don't follow me. You're done now." And she got so pissed off after that that she got in their bed, on his side of their bed, and took a shit. Like, I'm not making
What?
this up. They didn't like, dude, she fucking got up and defecated in the bed.
She needs some
Just
help.
on his side.
She needs help.
I swear.
Yeah, she
Like,
definitely
who
needs
does
help.
that? Dude, exactly, man. Exactly. Who does that? So it's crazy. I can't believe a human being decided they wanted to take a shit in the
I don't
bed.
know that I've
because
ever been so mad at somebody. I'm like, you know what? I'm about to shit on your bed. Like, really? Who does? I mean, what? Okay. Wow. Yeah. So.
And there, like I said, like there are some texts that came out that were really, really bad for Johnny Depp. That like because he talks mad shit about her to his friends and stuff via text, and they have all these texts somehow. And then they were like, you did some kind of I forget the drug at this point with Paul Bettany, the guy who played Vision, and he's like, yeah. So like Paul Bettany's out here just getting super fucking stoned with Johnny Depp doing coke or whatever it is they're doing, and it's all kind of crazy stuff. But he did say this one thing that really, really, really sucked. And he said, he was talking to Paul Bettany, and he said, "Let's burn Amber. Let's drown her, and then we burn her. And then I'll fuck her corpse just to make sure she's dead." And I'm just like, yeah, that stuff is really bad. You don't really want to be, caught saying stuff like that. That sucks. But if that's the worst of what he's got, then, it's not as bad as it seems, I guess, because like I said, man, Amber Heard is for sure a monster. It's confirmed. It's like, it's all out there. She takes a bunch of pictures of Johnny Depp, like while he was filming, what was that movie called? Black Mass, which is one of my favorite Johnny Depp films, by the way. He was filming Black Mask, and he'd been working like 17 hours a day because in that movie, he has to do like 3 to 4 hours of prosthetic work to look the part before he starts working in general. She knew that he was trying to go to sleep and he was super tired. He's sitting on the couch. He's got his hand in his pocket. She told him purposefully to hold her ice cream. She has an ice cream cone. she's like, "Here, hold this for me," and he was like, I'm gonna pass out. Like, don't do this. They do it anyway, and he passes out with this ice cream in his hand. It's just melting on him and on the couch because he's passed out. And she takes a picture. She took a video of him when he was pissed one day. She came to where he was while he was pissed off, and he's already told us, like, yeah, when I get mad, sometimes I break stuff. And they were like, well, that's kind of violent. And he was like, well, I mean, I'd rather, break a dish or punch a wall or something than like touch a person. That physical assault's never okay to a person. He said this. So she literally goes to his house and secretly films him, which I don't know how this was able to be used as evidence, because you can't record somebody without their knowledge. That's illegal, like straight up illegal. So that shouldn't have been allowed in court, but somehow that got through, and it's Johnny Depp in the kitchen, like banging cabinets and like breaking glass or something like that. And she's just like, I just came to check on you. What are you doing? And he's like, I'm pissed and this and that. And he's like really, really mad in this video, right? He's like going off. And she looks in the camera and like smiles and is laughing, right? But she told us, the people, she told the jury and all that she was afraid for her life. And I'm like, you're not afraid for your life. You're in the camera laughing and you're recording him without him knowing. And then he saw the camera and he said, are you fucking recording me right now? So he takes the camera, her phone out of her hand, and like throws it. And like, I was like, you know what, man? That doesn't look great on you, but that's a pretty basic human reaction right there, because if you saw somebody was recording you without your consent, you'd be pretty pissed. So I get it. And it wasn't a picture, it was a video. So like I said, I don't know how that was allowed in, but it was. But yeah, there's so much. So I could talk in tandem about all the stuff that's going on with that case. It's ridiculous.
We'll definitely touch back on it in future podcasts as it plays out, because it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. It's crazy stuff coming out. I don't know. Like I said, the audio recordings of her like punching him, like hitting him and doing stuff, and then him just leaving, and her like running him down for being a bigger person and leaving and stuff like that. Like, I see that being kind of pretty damning for her in this case, but we'll definitely see how it plays out for sure.
There's so much that's damning to Amber Heard, because there are multiple pieces of evidence, whether that's audio, a picture, photograph, video, testimonies, text messages, where she is purposefully trying to start some kind of physical altercation. It's very, very evident. So like I said, I don't see how she's winning this personally, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on. Like I said, we'll touch back on that as it progresses. It's the trial's ongoing as we speak, as of the day of recording this. But there's been some more news involving the law and another actor. And Christian, do you want to briefly talk about this? There's probably not a lot to talk about, but we had some another incident happen.
Yeah. So we reported just last week that Ezra Miller was arrested for drunk and disorderly or whatever. And then he got arrested again the very next week, this week, he got arrested again. But this time he got arrested for, I believe, throwing a chair at a woman and hitting
assault,
her in the head.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so it's assault for sure, for 100%, like first degree, whatever. But he got arrested for assault again. And like I said, this is like the second time within a week he's been arrested. He's been in trouble before. One of the reasons why the Flash movie got pushed back, I found out, is because Warner Brothers and DC and everybody involved with the movie of The Flash wanted that movie to come out, and they wanted some of that heat to die way down. So they pushed the movie back. But now it doesn't matter because he's been arrested again, and this time it's been for assault, and it's also not helped that it's assault. It's assault to a woman as well. And even though Ezra Miller doesn't identify as him, he identifies as they, it still doesn't look good in the eyes of the law and the eyes of fans. So a lot of people really want him to be removed from the Flash film. They want him to be replaced with Grant Gustin, who portrays the Flash in the Flash TV series that CW produces. And I highly doubt that'll happen for a couple of reasons. One, they need Ezra Miller to do the press for that movie. It's really expensive it's really expensive to replace an actor, especially when they're the main actor on a movie. Um, it's not impossible, but it is very expensive, and they've already finished the movie. The movie's done. The movie's been screened for test audiences already, and it did well for test audiences. So it would be such a hit for them to refilm all of the scenes with Ezra Miller, and then even if they wanted to take another route, which is to just use CGI to implant another actor into those scenes. It's still expensive because the CGI has to be perfect. Because if it's not, then we'll have another Henry Cavill mustache situation, and we don't need that. So I think that they're gonna just like let the movie come out anyway. I think that this will be his last Flash movie, his last superhero movie, probably. And they're gonna, he's gonna be put in some kind of rehab. He's gonna have to get help. Or I'm sorry, they're gonna have to get some kind of help. I apologize for that, but there's just no way that they will be able to continue portraying a character of that magnitude, knowing that they need the help that they need.
Yeah.
I just don't see it happening. And I mean, it really sucks because apparently Ezra Miller, their role in The Flash has been received very well for this new film from the test audiences.
I like him as the Flash, and that's what sucks.
And their chemistry with the other characters in the movies were apparently pretty good. And then also, this is a light spoiler for the movies, but they are also supposed to be playing 3 characters, 2 that we know of and 1 mystery. So if they're playing that many characters in the movie, can you imagine how much more expensive that would be for them to take him off completely? But I will say this. And I'll leave it at that. If they do not get rid of Amber Heard in Aquaman 2, then they won't get rid of Ezra Miller in The Flash, because there is no way that they could handle the backlash from fans for doing one or the other. They'd have to do both.
Yeah.
They would have to.
It just sucks because Johnny lost those jobs. You would like to see kind of the same precedent, if that's what you're going to do. But I know it's a different DC, whatever, so I definitely get what you're saying.
But yeah, that's fair. 100%.
But let's, I hope Ezra Miller is able to get the help that they need. Like you said, it's received well in the test. And I personally do like Ezra Miller's Flash. I think they are a good actor. And it sucks that all this is going down, but I do hope they get the help that they need. And, sucks how it's happening and what the future will hold as far as that character and stuff. But yeah, so not exactly an update we wanted, considering we literally just talked about this last week and it happened again, another incident this week. So not good. Not good. I'm sure DC is not happy with it. But
yeah, with them being bought by Discovery is going to, I'm telling you, dude, Discovery's going to nuke as much of the DCEU as they can. They're going to start fresh. We're going to see a lot of big changes, and I believe that they're going to start focusing heavily on Superman, because the executives, all the bigwigs at Discovery do not like the fact that Batman is more popular than Superman. So, like I said, we're definitely going to get
Batman's better. There, I said it. I don't care. Hashtag Batman's better.
I agree. He will always be better, and he's just a more interesting character in general. Yep. You know what I mean? After you get past the point that Superman's, stronger than literally everybody and can do literally anything, then it's really hard to get behind him as a character when he's supposed to be in pain or whatever. The only times that we see Superman fail is when it's some kind of natural cause that he couldn't stop in general, like his dad dying from a heart attack in the comics, or in the original Christopher Reeve Superman movie, excuse me. And then, stuff like that, like people dying due to natural disasters. Like that's the only time where it's like really crazy. And then after a while, every single villain has kryptonite, so it's not fun anymore. And it's like, it's really not that rare if everybody has it. It makes sense that Lex Luthor has it. It makes sense that Batman has it. It makes sense that Metallo has it because he got it from Lex Luthor. But after that, like, how many of you motherfuckers got kryptonite? Where y'all getting it from? It's just kind of crazy to keep allowing yourself to suspend your disbelief. So, like I said, we'll see what happens. They want us to focus on Superman. They want to start making a lot of changes. And I'm just kind of, at this point, ready to see what they want to change.
Yeah. All right. Well, that pretty much covers all the topics we have for this week. It's been a fun podcast. A lot of stuff covered. A lot of news going on. And yeah, if there's anything you guys would like us to talk about or like us to discuss, definitely let us know in the comments, whether on YouTube or hit us up on the socials or whatever, or in Gilded. We have a section in Gilded, gilded.gg/Sinister Pack, and let us know what you'd like to talk about. But it is to that final portion of the podcast. Last call questions.
Whiskey!
Pass the whiskey.
And we're going to pass the whiskey for that last call as we have another question coming from the one and only On the Inside. And it is for both of us. It says, when you were members of bands, did you take certain inspirations from bands? Christian, do you want to lead? What inspirations do you guys take from like whenever you were doing the band thing?
So when I was doing music, like me and so the band in general, obviously the band as a whole took inspiration from a lot of bands that we were into at the time. Myself and one other guitar player, Warren, we took inspiration from certain bands that the other members didn't necessarily take influence from all the time. But what I can remember off the top of my head, I know for a fact that I was heavily influenced by August Burns Red.
Ooh.
I really loved how groovy they were. I loved how tight that they sounded. I loved that their singer Jake could do what he did live on recordings live. I really like to see that, and we definitely wanted to have breakdowns that sounded that big for sure. The first time I heard Composure is the song that got me as heavy into metal as I am now. So what happened was I was at my buddy Warren's house. We're watching music videos, and he left to do something, and I was still watching music videos, and Composure was a video. And I just remember seeing, excuse my language, but I just remember seeing a bunch of white boys in the dirt with white t-shirts on. And I was like, this is going to look stupid. So I played the video, and it was the best thing I'd ever heard in my life. Composure was my favorite song for like the next 2 years after that. And I was like, I don't know what kind of metal this is, but I need more of it in my life. And I went down the rabbit hole hardcore, and that's all she wrote. So definitely August Burns Red was a huge influence. Even though we were in a metal band, another big influence, another one of my favorite bands when growing up was Blink-182. So Blink-182 was definitely a band that I took inspiration from. A Day to Remember, just because they were very poppy with a lot of their stuff, but they were also pretty hardcore when they needed to be at the time. And I remember listening to, Mr. Highways, Thinking About the End, and songs like Second Sucks. Like those songs were pretty heavy, at least at the time. And I remember being like, if we can emulate some of that into our sound, this would be great. And another band that I remember taking inspiration from on the gentler side of things was Volumes. I remember listening to a lot of Volumes and wanting to figure out a way to emulate some of that into our sound and my bass playing for sure. And those are the main ones that I can think of off the top of my head. I know I'm missing tons. There's a Veil of Maya. There's another one.
Yep.
Not necessarily the vocal aspect, but just the musicality. Definitely love them. And then we started getting into bands like Tesseract and stuff like that. So like I said, Gent kind of started taking over my inspiration list. But those are who I can think of off the top of my head. What about you?
We definitely all come from different backgrounds. For example, I was I listen to all types of metal, hardcore, death metal, metalcore. Metalcore was definitely what was popular when the band was being formed, and there was a lot of metalcore stuff. Our guitar player was very big into progressive metal. He loved like Opeth and Devin Townsend and stuff like that. He drew a lot of inspiration from that. As you can tell, if you ever listen to our stuff, there's a lot of solos and leads and stuff like that. But he pulled a lot of inspiration from that. Our other guitar player and drummer kind of got into metal when the band was forming. They were more rock oriented and they were more familiar with that. The guitar player had been around metal more. The drummer got into it as we were getting into, like, we were forming the band. So everybody kind of pulled different aspects, which made the music different because we would all pull from different bands. Our bass player was into pop punk and a lot of stuff like that. And he had a whole diverse thing. Animals as Leaders was one that I know our guitar players loved. Circle of Contempt was one that we all liked as a band. Volumes, we definitely took influence from. Trying to think what else. As Like Dying, I mean, Kill Switch, all that stuff. Like, there was elements of that in there. Sea of Treachery, like there was a lot of influence across. That's just some bands to name. I know me from a vocal style point. I was always 3 vocalists. I would want my styles to be. So essentially, you have like a high pitch scream, like kind of a piercing high. And then you have like a mid, which is like just almost like a speaking voice, but obviously a scream. And then you have a low, which is like a guttural, like the growls. It sounds like you're burping a Coke or something. I would always take influence from my highs from Trevor from Black Dahlia Murder. My mids would be Vigil from The Ghost Inside. And then I would want my lows to be like, Phil Bozeman from Whitechapel. Whitechapel's another one we took influence from as well. But I would pull from them. Ghost Inside's another influential band. It's a big one for me. And yeah, so Periphery, there's another one. I could go on. And I'm sure you could too. There's a ton of bands. Like it was, we pulled from everywhere. An album would come out, and obviously it would affect the writing process for the entire band, whether it's something that was done vocally, like a pattern, or maybe a drum beat, or maybe like a groove riff or something, like all that was definitely influential. So it was a variety of things we drew from various sources for sure.
I gotta mention, you had just said 2 bands that I don't know how I could have forgotten, but I think going back, one of the absolute biggest influences on the band that I was a part of at the time, the main band I was part of at the time, was absolutely Periphery.
Yeah.
Periphery changed everything for us. Like that was the first gent band that we knew was gent listening to it without asking any questions. And they were such an influence on us, myself, and especially me, but just on us in general. Like seeing them live was something we felt like we had to do before we died, and we totally did, and it was worth it.
Yeah, they're amazing
100%.
live. They're so good live,
man. And we saw them live when they weren't good live, because I remember Spencer, their vocalist, when he first joined the band, he did a lot of poppy stuff, and one of our band members referred to it as Hamtaro jams. I'll never forget that. He referred to it as Hamtaro jams. I'm not going to out who said it though, just in case they want that anonymity. But I remember listening to them live for the first time when they first started, and hearing Spencer and being like, man, he's very new. He doesn't know exactly how to do these screams yet. But looking at him now as compared to how he was then, he's a completely different guy. He lives and breathes this kind of music. So he sounds amazing, and I love it. But with that said, another huge influence on us was Killswitch, because Killswitch had they had a black lead singer at the time.
Howard Jones has one of the best singing voices. I love his cleans.
Yeah, man. Howard has one of those voices that you could listen to, and if he catches you at the right day, you might cry, legit.
Very soulful singing voice.
Yeah. So hearing that mixed with the type of metal they were playing, which was more like you had just mentioned it a second ago. Now I can't think of the word. But anyway, they're playing that kind of like groovy metal, and hearing that was really nice. It was a really nice composition. It was really nice. It was complimentary of the music itself. So hearing him bellow those notes, singing like that, and then screaming right after, was like, oh my God, this can work. We can do this. So that was absolutely something. And we actually sent our music to their guitar player to be mixed and mastered.
Nice.
And he actually mixed and mastered our music. Now,
Adam D mixed and mastered for you guys?
Huh?
Adam D?
Yeah. Adam D
awesome.
mixed and mastered.
I didn't know that.
Awesome. Yeah, man. And that's, like I said, that was right before we started getting influenced by gent. So, and like Periphery and stuff. That was like right before that whole thing hit. So our sound definitely changed after that, but just the fact that we can say that our music was mixed by Adam D was something that I'll never forget. It was an experience like no other.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. I always said if I could sing, I would like to sing like Howard Jones or Spencer from Periphery.
I hear you.
Like if I had
to
a better
choose-
singing voice, but yeah.
if I got to choose which one, it would absolutely be Howard, just because that resonates with me a little bit more. But yeah,
His voice
either
is very
one
powerful.
Absolutely.
All right. But that's a good question, Chad. If you'd like to know, or chat, good God, you can tell I'm a streamer. Listeners, if you would like to hear more band stories or have more questions concerning band, maybe in the future we can get some former band members on here or even some bands we played with. I would definitely like to go down that rabbit hole more. There is a lot of stories and a lot of things. Like I said, we could talk about bands literally probably a whole podcast. That was just a quick summary of some bands I could think of off the top of my head, but there's many, many more we could pull as far as like influences and stuff we, drew from, whether it be going through songs and talking about it or whatever, or just band stories. We definitely could talk about it more. We may just start bringing it more on our own. But if you would like to have your question read, or if you have a question similar to that, or anything else, definitely hit up the Gilded, again, gilded.gg/Sinister Pack in the application. Just put your From the Podcast. There is a section under General on the Sippin With Sin podcast category where it says Last Call Question. Just post it in there, and we'll potentially read it and put it on the podcast. But thank you on the inside for that question. And as always, we like to tell you where you can find us. You can find Sippin With Sin on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok at Sippin With Sin. And you can find me, Sinister, pretty much everywhere at IamSinister TV, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'm doing some TikTok lives over there as well. Come check those out and hang out with us. Facebook, fb.gg/IamSinister TV, streaming over there in the mornings, and Twitch at IamSinister TV over there as well. Twitch.tv, IamSinister TV. Gonna start streaming over there. I think we'll be live actually Friday and Saturdays possibly in the morning over there. And then on YouTube, just IamSinister, as well as you can see the video version of this podcast. And it will be live every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Central Time, same as it goes live on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast. Christian, where can everyone find your beautiful self?
You guys can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Venin Inc. That is VENANDINK. And guys, like I said, Vin and Ink. I hope you guys come and see me. You can see my beautiful artwork, my beautiful face. And then I do make videos about my art sometimes on TikTok. So definitely check that out as well. Give me a follow. All the love helps. I really appreciate it.
All right. Well, it has been a fun episode. It's definitely the longest one we've done in a while. We definitely went over our thing. We got on some rants, but almost an hour and 40 minutes. Wow. So if you're still listening right now, you're a real one. But we appreciate you all. Continue to share the podcast, spread it to your friends, tell your friends about it, get them to go like it, share it, subscribe to it, follow it, whatever, rate it 5 stars, spread the love. Let's keep growing this, and let's keep it rolling. All right. And Christian, let's take it out. If you'll lead us away, lead us to the promised land, sir.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Sipping with Sin. Please be sure to leave a 5-star rating, click that follow button, and give us a like if you can. But guys, most importantly, don't get gutted.
Cheers. See you guys next time.